The Netflix animated film K-Pop Demon Hunters took the world by storm, even spawning a theatrical run of a sing-along version. Now, while I am seriously late to this, I checked out both the regular version and the sing-along. So is all the hype warranted? When they aren't selling out stadiums, K-pop superstars Rumi, Mira, and Zoey use their secret identities as demon hunters to protect their fans from an ever-present supernatural threat. Together, they must face their biggest enemy yet, an irresistible rival boy band of demons in disguise. So this isn't the first time Netflix has given us a movie that appears simple and cute on the outside, but inside packs a powerfully relevant and important message. Just like with Nimona, K-Pop Demon Hunters uses stunning visuals and infectious songs to present a story centered around identity, acceptance, self-worth, and changing worldviews. Now, the basic premise of this is that a trio of K-pop singers are secretly demon hunters. I mean, it says it in the title, with the goal of saving their fans and ultimately the world from a demon king that feasts on souls. Now, there's sort of a protective shield of souls called the Hanmun, and that's made to safeguard the world from the demons and the demon king. Now, the animation, it is expertly created, giving us a 3D world that isn't photorealistic, but it's more like CGI with a bit of stutter that's similar to a stop-motion movie. Now, not all of this uses the stuttering effect, creating a mix of smooth animation and frame skipping to make this feel unique, despite sharing qualities with other works. Now, the colors, character designs, and general world building, they present a shiny and alluring world that showcases all the glam of a pop star world while also mixing in the threat of soul-eating demons. But then they also usually sport these faces that resemble a combo of a tall and Oni mask. And while these are traditionally used to drive away evil, the visuals are used here to create ominous and threatening creatures. There are so many different settings that allow for variety here, sometimes crafting a dreamlike scenario with soft pastel colors and floating bokeh effects. Other times, dark contrasting colors that create more of this ominous or threatening vibe. Now, the music in this, it is full of earworms that just make it easy to see why this got a theatrical sing-along release. I mean, I'm no expert in K-pop at all, but I do love pop music, and I certainly appreciate the ingenuity in crafting a tune that infects the mind and can't easily be purged. I mean, think back to Bop. It's not a good song, but it's a phenomenal pop song. I mean, it gets stuck in your head, and now you may even be humming it along inside your mind. You're welcome. Here it's the mix of rap, spoken word, and melodic choruses that invade the brain, and somehow you find yourself singing portions all throughout the day. The tunes are catchy, but when you dive into the lyrics, they're packed with weighty meaning. The verses and choruses all reinforce the core of the story, and they serve as a piece of narration that would otherwise be delivered in boring exposition. And that leads me to really the most important part of this film, the messaging and its point. Now, on the surface, this looks to just be some cutesy musical number about rival pop bands duking it out on stage in an American Idol sort of popularity contest, which is then combined with stylized action featuring sword fights between girls wielding neon glowing weapons, and then a vast array of soul-sucking demons. And right there, because this is executed so well, along with the good music and excellent animation, the film is perfectly great simply through these. But what makes this transcend from great to phenomenally moving is the core of the plot. This is a story that continually focuses on how the world views being different as a negative, that having traits, qualities, beliefs, or behaviors that differ from the masses is seen as evil or repugnant, something that needs to be destroyed. And what the arc is also stating, although not totally blatantly, is that if you're different, no matter how, you need to be destroyed. And for one character's arc in particular, once a certain obstacle is overcome, that character will then be seen as whole and worthy, as if how they are currently isn't enough. Now, the pointed nature of the story is both touching and heartbreaking, mainly because it shouldn't have to be said that each person holds tremendous value, regardless of how they conform or not. The story formulates the conflict in a creative way, using conformity as the desirable function so that those who pursue it are portrayed as heroes, and those who are different are shown to be villainous demons. Now, this is an ongoing theme throughout the story, but towards the climax, that's when we get some heated and piercing interactions that use the dialogue to accentuate the message that really needs to be heard. And it's presented in a way that isn't preachy, but it is most certainly direct and passionate. Now, in a time when kids, teens, heck, even adults are being told that their worth is determined by what a small group of zealots spout, this story and presentation is one more way to combat the hate and then provide a salve that hopefully resonates and penetrates. Now, Rumi, one of the main characters, finds herself caught in the middle of two warring identities, with one being considered disgusting and evil, and the other seen as desirable and righteous. Now, she speaks of shame of what she is, believing that she has to keep herself a secret from all of those around. There are some heart-wrenching lines of dialogue that illustrate how her conformity shrunk her through growing fame, so much so that she begins to lose her voice. And not just her singing voice, but the essence of who she is and what she stands for. I think the messaging of her conflict, it's straightforwardly delivered and not obscured, but it's also contained within a less threatening package, which ideally then is going to make it easier to absorb and digest by people who may be conditioned to be resistant to changing their beliefs or their minds. There's also a wonderful arc of redemption within a character story. We get to watch them grow and learn from past regrets, and instead of staying stuck in old behaviors, they demonstrate emotional maturity and take responsibility for actions, allowing them to be freed from their self-made shackles of despair. And you might be saying, geez, I was just hoping for some entertaining animation with good music. Wasn't looking for all sorts of social commentary. It doesn't have to be either or. The film is superb in its musical stylings, and the imagery is bright and captivating, incorporating several visual styles to make the production stimulating and engaging. And despite having a deep and resonant message at its core, the storytelling isn't beating us over the head to pay attention to that message. It presents it in a non-threatening and non-confrontational manner, despite being direct and straightforward. I've now watched the film twice in 2 days, soaking up the energetic music and then becoming enveloped in the deeper arc. K-Pop Demon Hunters, it is a surprisingly important story that contains tremendous depth, which is then wrapped in a movie that can entertain and enrapture throughout its hour 40 runtime. The music, it's contagious, the animation is gorgeous, and the plot is urgent and necessary. If you've not already given this a go, do yourself a favor and then strap in for an amazing feel-good time that's going to have you humming the tunes long after the credits have rolled. Now, there's no sex or nudity, there's very mild profanity and then some animated violence. I give K-Pop Demon Hunters 5 out of 5 couches. Now, I'd couple this with Nimona, which I did today, and then you've got yourself a solid couple hours of worthwhile movie watching. Do you have a favorite animated film? I would love to know what you love in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.